Hi everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. So I'm just going to be showing how to improve on the last tutorial which I shared. So the last one I shared, I showed how to do this particular project section. If you've seen, I personally have seen this particular effect done on a couple of creative websites. Once you hover over any element, it just shows you an image that appears from thin air, and then it just things just there's just some interesting motion that goes on around that section. So I tried to recreate that in my last tutorial. I will link the video in the comment section of this particular one. But for today's one, I'm going to be showing you how to do something else. So I showed where I was able to make this. I showed this one in my last tutorial. I did it for my personal project. So I'm going to show how to do it. It's because I think it does a couple of things that are a bit different from the last one I shared. So I want to show you the techniques I applied while working on this to achieve this particular effect. So without much ado, let's get started. Keep in mind that for this tutorial, I'm not going to be building everything from scratch. I'm going to be just reusing that file like we had made for the last tutorial. I'm just going to tweak a couple of things and make it suit this particular one. So let's get started. So I'm going to still work on the same file. So in case you need to copy the my own assets, you can just come to the same file and go to page 2. I'm going to leave this file in the comments as well. So just go to page 2 and then you find this particular tutorial there, and you can copy it. Again, I would always recommend don't ask for edit permission. Just select everything, Control C, open a new file, and then paste it there. It's going to work. So you don't have to press request access, because I want to keep this file available for everybody without having to alter a couple of things, which is why I don't allow access to them. So just copy everything, select everything, copy and paste in your own file. It's going to work out of the box. So let's get started. So for page 2, I'll first of all create a new. I will just really copy that same file, really copy everything. I will copy everything. So Control C and then go to page 2 and paste it there. So I'm going to change a couple of things for this one, obviously. So the first thing I want to do is, so that I can see there's enough contrast, I'm going to change the background fill color to white. I'm going to change this color here to total black, and I think I'm going to leave this color as it is. Nice. So you can just come to the design file and then copy the color code in case you want to do exactly the same thing like I have done. So after that is done, I'm going to copy just this thing because I only need this one. Okay, I think I need everything really. I'm going to copy this project details, one of them, Control C, and then I'm going to paste it here. Control paste here. Okay. So I'm going to keep the length, because I'm keeping the length for a reason, because it may get messy once start working and start adjusting length. So the width rather is 1280. So make sure to keep yours as 1280 as well. If you don't know how to create this, please just watch the second tutorial, watch the first part, and you see how I was able to create this particular asset in the first place, and a couple of things I mentioned. For example, making sure that your stroke is set to center instead of inside or outside for a certain reason. So let's just get started. I'm going to delete this one as well. It's no longer useless for this particular tutorial. So I want to change a couple of things. I want to change the stroke first. The stroke, I want to go to the stroke and change it. I want something lighter. So I'll just do 80 here. So like I said, I use HSL. So HSL allows me, I personally prefer it because it allows me more control for the hue, saturation, and lightness. So I prefer to use it. I think it's a better option than using hex code. I like seeing the hex code here, yes, but then once I want to change the color, I prefer HSL because, like I said, it allows me more control. So I want to go there again and change it to, let's say, 95 instead, because I want the stroke to be very faint. Okay. Oh, that's too faint. Let's just leave that 80 at 80, or at what it was before. So CCC. So I think this works. Let's not do too much. So I'm going to detach instance because I want to build this thing in my own image. So I'm going to detach that instance. Then I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to delete this image because this image element, we no longer have need for it. It's invisible, but then it's there. It's really, really tiny. You can see my mouse. If you can see, it's appearing somewhere there. So it's really tiny because I have set the size to 0.1, 0.1. So I'm just going to delete it. I no longer have need for it. In here, I want to change the text colors. I'm going to select everything. Just press here, change it to 0. Then I want to just make it, these are just aesthetic, some small aesthetic changes, but I think I saw it, and I think the design was, let's play to see how it looks. Because again, even if I'm not, as much as I'm teaching how to make interactions, I also want to teach how to like have a good eye for design as well. So I want to scale things that I think they look too big. So I'm going to select both of these, and then I'm going to change the size to 20 first of all. And for this one, I think 16 is fine. I also want to reduce the size spacing between them, because I feel like it's too much for me. For my creative direction, I think it's too much. So just going to scale it down. And then for this entire project details, I want to also set it to hot content instead. And for the height, for the top and bottom part, I want to set it to 20. Left and right set it to 0, because there's no longer an image, so 0. So this is what I want to have. So let's see how it looks if I were to duplicate it a bunch of times. So this is what I would have. So I think I just like the look of this better. It just looks cleaner to me. So I'm just going to be keeping this. So I'm just going to roll back my changes to where I had only one, and then start building. So the first thing I want to do is to, like I said, maintain this size, maintain this width, because it's 80 from both sides. If you want to make a change to the size now, you maybe want the distance from the frame, from the viewport, to be something else. You can do it now, because if you do it later, it's going to be messy. So it's best you actually do it now. But for mine, 1280 is just fine. So it's 80 from both sides. So the next thing I would like to do is to frame it. I want to frame it next. Do I frame it at this point? I think let's not bother framing it at this point. I don't think it's necessary. So let's just start making our changes from the get-go. The first thing I want to do is to actually frame it. I think I need to frame it at this point. So I'm going to frame it, and I'm going to hold command, hold alternate, and then just stretch it. Or should I do this? I think I should just use auto layout instead. So auto layout, shift A, and then I want to set this one to fill. Good and fine. So shift A, there's an auto layout frame inside of it. So I'm going to call this one project. Let's call it project base. Let's call it project base. And for the internal padding, 80. Okay, it's already set to 80 because the size of this one is fill already. So I am okay with this first iteration. The next thing I want to do is to add a rectangle to it, because if you notice, for this one I'm trying to recreate, you can see that once you hover by any section, a black fill just moves in from that side, from the left to the right. So that's what I'm trying to create with the black rectangle. On second thoughts, I don't think we actually need that black rectangle anymore. What I think we want to do is to just have a fill instead. We want to have it as a fill instead. So there's no point doing adding the black rectangle. So what I want to do is I want to create another version now. So I want to create this is the before state. Let's say this is the before state, then this is going to be the after state. For this after state, I want to make the background, add a fill color. Change fill color to black. Okay, and then press enter. So I've selected the item side. I'm going to go here and just change it to F. So it's just a faster way to work. By going to selection colors, you work faster instead of having to click through and make changes. So we have two versions. So what we're going to do now is we're going to stack them on each other. We're going to stack them, put them on top of each other. Although before I do that, I want to remove auto layout on this particular one, which is why I said it's important for you to get your size now, because if you remove auto layout at this point, it's going to affect resizing down the line. Although there are a couple of things you can do to avoid drastic changes, but it's just best you pick your size before you get started. When I say size, I mean width. So the next thing I want to do now is to set this to clip content first of all. That's very, very important. Clip content is very, very important if you want to do anything. So clip content as well. Then I want to remove auto layout, like I said. So remove the auto layout by pressing remove auto layout. So now it's just a normal frame. So I can move, I have more freedom to mess around with things, because if I were to use auto layout, it might get messy. So it's just best to remove auto layout, especially on this particular one. This other one, it's not really necessary because you're not going to make a lot of changes to it anymore. Then another thing I want to do for the sake of scalability is to start adding component props to the text. So I want component props to be able to allow me to be able to control, like, change the text at a go. So let's add a component. If you remember correctly, I actually taught component props in my last tutorial, but let's just do it again, all over again. So here I'm going to add a new component prop. I'm going to call this one name is going to be project name. So this is a prop for the project name. If I want to change project name, I only need to come here and then adjust it. So here I'm going to change this one to oh, I think I was calling it one client then, so I should have used dummy text, but that's fine. So clients. Okay, then here I'm going to set it to add another one called duration. So component props is going to allow me to change things down the line. You're going to see how important it is later as we keep designing things. So, but for now, let's just apply it here as well. So here I'm going to select project name. I'm going to select what's it called, client. So I've applied that props of clients and all project name to those things, and then here I'm going to apply duration. So I can just change duration until I can come here and just change things quickly. So you're going to see how I'm going to use them down the line. So what I want to do now is I want to select both of them, and then I want to align horizontally and vertically. So they are stacked on top of each other now. So the what do you call it? This particular section, the project. Okay, we should actually give them different names now. So project name. This is project field. So this one that has the black background is project field. Then this is called project base, or project, whatever name you want to give it, just to differentiate them. So I have both of them on each other, like exactly on each other. Since they're the same height, they're going to hide each other perfectly well. So I'm going to just change it to this color. Then the next thing I want to do now is I want to select both of them, and then I want to change them to a component set, create component set. So now it's a component set. So I'm just going to bring it down because component sets do not work inside of inside a frame, or components, like creating actual components, the master component inside of a frame does not really work. So let's add a variant, and then add oh boy, I think we've made a mistake. So backtrack. We're going to backtrack a bit. Instead of creating component set, rather, what we're going to do is select both of them, bring it out, and then we're going to merge them. We're going to frame both of them. So we must frame both of them. Frame selection, and then call this one project hover. Let's call it hover, because this is meant to be like the hover state, like I said. So you can see here now. Let's just wait for it to come back. Once you hover over any of them, this is the state we're trying to create. So this hover state is what we just created just now. So we want to go ahead and create like the base state. So to create the base state is because, like I said, when I want to create prototypes, I prefer to create the final version first, or the after state first, and then I'll now backtrack and create like the what's it called, the before state. I just find it easier to work like that, and it's more efficient, really. So what we want to do to achieve our desired results is to, first of all, Ctrl Z. We want to select this project hover. We're going to clip content. So clip content here, make sure it's turned on. Clip content, because it's very important for when you're trying to do masks and stuff. So we're going to duplicate it now. Then here we want to see this one we're calling project field. We're going to hold command. It's very important to hold command or control if you're using a Windows, and then just resize it, because if you're resizing like this now, it's not going to affect the content side of it. If you're holding command or control, it's not going to affect the content side of it, because if you don't, I have just left it. Okay, it's not really affecting it because I think I already set my parameters right. But if I did not, let's see. Okay, if I had set it to left, okay, it's not really affecting them. But yeah, sometimes it gets messy. So just to avoid that, hold command or hold control, and then just shrink it down to as little as you can, and then hold command again or control, and then the end of it, stretch it out a bit so it goes outside of the frame. So it goes outside of the frame, Oh, that's a mistake. Project over project field. Okay, I think we just made a mistake. I should have been adjusting the project field. The project field should have been adjusting now. So I was making a mistake. I was like adjusting the entire project over. That should not be the case. It should be project field. I'm adjusting. I think these names are actually confusing, but try and just follow through as best as you can. We're going to call this thing project base. Now I just made mistakes naming them, but that's fine. So project field. Should I just call them field and base really? But that's fine. So I'm going to adjust. Make sure you're adjusting project field. So I'm going to just adjust, hold command, and then adjust the end to make it go out a bit, because I want the idea is to have the black background coming from the left, so it needs some space to be outside. So I'm just going to come here as well and drag it all the way. Hold command or control while you're dragging to avoid messing up the content side of it. So drag it outside. So that's basically it. As it is now, it's on canvas, it looks like it's outside, but in the layers panel, it's actually still inside here. So you can see this is it here, but because of the holding command, I was able to like move it outside entirely. So that's just the idea we're trying to do. Like I said, make sure you're holding command or control when you're resizing. If not, it's going to mess up the position. So like this, we've been able to achieve what we're actually trying to achieve. So you see that if I were to hold command again and then stretch it, you can see that this is the result I'm trying to achieve. Like it has two versions. It has the version with the black text behind and the version with the white text on top. But then I'm masking. Yeah, this is what I'm actually masking the I'm masking out the one with the black background and the white text. So that's just the simple logic behind it, really. So now I'm going to select project base and project hover, these two items, and I'm going to create component set. So with this done, I will just hold select them, and then I can now prototype. I can actually start prototyping now. So prototype, link this to this. If you followed the last tutorial, you see I prefer to use mouse center. You can actually use while hovering, but I think mouse center just gives you better results, really. So mouse center is in and out. I think 600 is my preferred number for this particular one. We can always change it if we see that it's moving too fast or moving too slow. Then for the outro animation, I prefer to use change it to mouse leave, and then I prefer to use ease in. We can always come back and change if we see it doesn't work. And then I prefer the leaving animation to be faster than the entry animation. So let's just change to 400 instead. So I'm going to copy this now, this base state, Control C, and then I'm going to paste it in my design. Viewport, paste. Let's just move downwards here. And then let's see how it works. Okay, so it works well. However, I think you can see it moving on. So let's just centralize properly. So it goes from side to side. So I think we're done really. Like it works really well. We could duplicate a bunch of them. Control, let's just move one downwards. Control D. And hover over them. So you can see it works very, very fine. Then this is the result we're trying to achieve. So a couple of things I want to just test out to be sure that it work fine is the text. That's the text props I added. Hopefully they still work. If not, that might be trouble. So let's just come here, and oh boy, they've been phased out. Okay, I don't think they have been phased out really. They're still there, just that it takes a bit of it's just more tedious getting to them. I wish I had created them while I was working on this. So the best approach to creating component props for a design or a use case such as this is to first of all create the component first, and then come and start creating props inside of it. So I think what I'm going to do now is to start applying the props here. So detach. Although it might be a bit tricky applying it here, because I mean some of them are already masked. I've masked some of them out of the view here, so it might be a bit tricky, but it's best you do it like this, so it saves you like the tedious work of adjusting things later down the line. So let's just remove these things and see if it's going to work if we do it right. Okay, so here I'm going to apply component props, project name. Let's see if it works. So I think we may have a problem, but no problem too great to solve. No problem too great to solve. So what we want to just do, I'm just looking at the best approach to solve this. Create link, so detach. I want to remove component props. Then I want to create, I think I might need to create a new one because I want it to be very easy for you to edit it down the line. So I'm going to create a new one. Let's see. Text. I'm going to call it a different name now. Name of project. So I ideally should have rehearsed this particular tutorial before coming to show you how to do it, so we don't run into error. But I think it's even good, like you see the errors I run into and then see how you can solve them, so that it doesn't just look like it's just a one-shot thing, and once you just do all these things, it's going to work out of the box. You have to run into errors, you have to experience errors, and then know how to solve them. So I think seeing that even I experience errors like this is kind of good character building for you as well. So I'm going to create a new component prop. So you can see these are tied to the component itself. So I think these are better than creating it at the beginning. So if you have already created at the beginning, you have to backtrack just like I'm doing now. So name of client. So I'm using different names because I don't want it to have the same name like this one. It's not going to work. It's going to conflict. Then this one, I'm going to call it I'm going to create a new one. Call it project duration. Forget the spelling. It can be anything. So with that, I can actually change the component props without going into the design here. Then I want to also apply component props to the hidden section as well. You can see the field section that's outside. I didn't touch those ones. The one that I was adjusting was the one just on the field, just on the visible part of the design. So I want to go into the field by navigating through the layers panel. Going to select home page. Okay, you can see. Going to apply component props. I'll link that first one. Apply name of project. Okay. Here I'm going to apply name of client. Then here I'm going to apply the component prop that is name project duration. Yes, project duration. So I think we're good to go. I think we're good. We might be good to go. Yes, we are good to go. Okay. So I think we can also do this. We should also do the same here as well. It's very important we do the same. So I'm just going to move fast. I'm going to select main elements. Okay, select the home page and then do multi-select. So this is how I work fast as well. And then I'm going to apply component props to them to name of project, so I can be very effective with the way I'm working. Select a multi-select, and then I'm going to unlink and then apply name of clients, and then here multi-select as well, unlink, then apply name of project duration project duration. Okay, then I think it's on to the project base as well. So do the same for project base. Homepage, unlink, apply the name of project. Then here, multi-select, then apply the name of client. So multi-select as well, and then apply the project duration. So I'm not really sure I applied it for the first one. I just want to double check to be sure I did. So multi-select, okay. Apply the name of the name of project. So cool. So I think with this we've been able to solve our problem that we ran into the first time. So I can come here, click on it. You can see it just gives me these properties, and then I can change. Okay, I want to change this name of project here. I want to change it to name of project to website redesign. Let's change name to Google, and then project duration, let's just do 4 weeks. So here I have more control over the, without having to go into like start changing things like manually. It's going to be a very tedious process having to change things on both in both states. So let's just see if it works. So you can see it works just fine. So I can do the same for these other ones. Let's say mobile app design for Uber. Okay, this took 8 weeks, and then and so on and so forth. I don't want to spend too much time customizing all of them, so you can just do that in your own spare time. Do different projects for yours just to make it look alive. So I'm going to select everything, move it up a bit. Let's just do 40. Let's just 40. I think 40 is fine. 40 is fine. So we're good to go. So it works. Everything works out of the box. If we have any other issues, I think maybe the other things you can actually play around with for yours would be what's the word? Would be adding like maybe reducing the timing, changing transition, and all of that, and so on and so forth. So you can see how it even moves. It's fun, I guess. So these are the things you can do with using Figma components and using all the features that using all the techniques I just showed you for this particular design project. I hope you have fun replicating it, and if you have any issues, run into any problems, feel free to reach out to me on social media. I'm a Mission Victor everywhere, either on YouTube, either on Twitter or LinkedIn. I am always very active there, and I can always like respond to you and help you solve your problems as well. Without much ado, take care of yourself, and see you next week's tutorial. Bye.